Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Petition Committee ge dehaste viswana aharuge hatarwana baddaluma committee wadaagenne me befronna awan marhaba dannawa miyadu mi Petition Committee asa kure fami wani raitu majliha electronic petition petition taaraf kurumattaka UN adi raitu majliha nguligen taaraf kurumunda petition system a gulegotu UNDP के consultant ना बदल करो और मैं ना मियोगु तो petition के मालूमात दिनों में टका कमेटी हाजिर उड़ाएं तो भी और मैं मालूमात भी फमी बनी रेफुंग फरात बायर उड़ा करना वाने सिफ्जा उमर प्रोग्राम मैनेजर अहमद नाइफ मोहम्मद program officer adi Yasmin Rashid assistant resident representative governors adi ebefaladi odayanu ganna namis almenge petition committee kuriya gendana miyugu tolganda ekko committee ge bayru odaganna kedu dairaga izzeter member adi ingradu dairaga izzeter member adi kela dairaga izzeter member kuriya befunna besade sefar committee marhaba dannawa algonda hiwani mi tibefunge mi mawlumata almenna hissa kolla mi fursatu an holwala furtama committee ge zetre member ko ben full comment note hiyalen oti algonda hama hoshala din mal furtama member no fursataru ingra darak zetre member hasan ahmad al fursataru
kuriya zetre member marhaba ya befunna mi dunia ana technology ya ade me oriha kamaka ami adot nani baro saefa den miga tibefunna mi kamundi bifori maulumataka amunda hiyani mi waru kame kurayarga dunia ge hentantanga mi kan kuray gota e technology e wasilata e fasa ya ehurihatches mi atibefuna konane dirasa kurei fakanne ege matcha palla fakanne ge mi warge kame mi tanati befun beno fulwege mi kama anga ema maulumatu mi committee atibefun ge faraton hissa kol devu wara boda edenga wondo ehme wagdanna shukriya farata wadanne
kedu dairagi zetremba
shukriya izzeter mugadir Shifza Umar adi Ahmad Nafiz Muhammad marhaba committee ingad me mugadir alwana iwani furatamanu alwana fashambi me program be gotum mi befulun furatama taarafe devima alwana menna den miya eko den alwana menge itur konsane mikama gule gotum orejje kama wanyama den itur bahadakan kanne alwana menna fursatu ulwala babbi ehma alwana furatama fennani me program ke taarafe tebe fulong erwo shukriya mugari
shukriya alond hama izetre memberge edwada ekatun mati tebe fulonge taarafe ankore di mangal hama fursat arwa
namaki Ahmad Naif program officer UNDP governance portfolio algona main shift samar program manager governance portfolio and the meonaki me petition system majliyaga mi masakatuga focal point on gotuga UNDP masake kurade dem petition system ke majliha UNDP ayko miharas korea mida strategic partnership ke dashun almen dehas 22 wana har wasto conceive kurun program e program ga maganu maqsad ki ane me dawlatu ge hamakan ituru kuruma jawabdari kurave marhalata we have sardana kuruma mi majliha ki rayutunnan huluwalevifa majlihe kamuga heduma air majlihe ge raisa nab raisa majlihe ge idara inge devi nenge visnengu matinna UNDP ge strategic by priorities taka godigen almen draft kuri program mi program ki UN demmes me dannawadi gota UNDP ya majlihe ge strategic partnership ke dashun hinga program mi strategic partnership ke terege ehem programs tavis kuriya ei practice parliament for youth practice parliament for women हमको में हर कोई FRA बावा गोता हमें यहाँ को मी नुकुल दिन तरीकों होना फरात तक दौलत के की वज़ारा तक मुअस्ससा तक muassasataka wadweene goi nuwata etaga tamsil kuremene goi intizam kurma hinga ane mi open government noni PWD sensitization program is majliha gulige hingi fawan then hama ege dashum mi e-petition system bis mi ai then e-petition system algun men mi rawala fmeti de maru hala egamach de fiyawas egamach mi furatama fiyawasaki asu mi siyasatu kandayalu nuwata mi policy development fiyawai meete kuriya midani warabboda majliha UNDP ge global policy network ge masake kura international consultant aka ekko mi fiyawahi nimumu mi policy develop kurewamu mi e-petition system me gaanoni gotun hingane goi majliha ke masake kurana ge sarukara ko interface kurana goi algon menna liumat tiri kurevuni maden devana fiyawahi mi fashion devana fiyawasaki UNDP a majliha gulige meete develop majliga website miharus idara enge bohri bay badalta gennam beenum wame ane mi lodan mi nukula dun terikon hunna faraataka beenum wa bay kala features tange bohri miharus request kore den hama yaako friend mugan nukula dun terikon yeah then hama yaako website gennan je ituru badaltaka mi petition system me yang incorporate kuruma software development noni website development mi second phase noni devana fiyawahi galgun me fashan maso mihar kure medani furatama fiyawe e ane mi almen international consultant taka majliha gudigen develop ko famiyati tibe fulna hoshala siyasat karda hai e siyasat karda hoga par detail ko lewe fawane konka hala kantattaketto e petition system එක හුරුන් lazim වගම් වනි කිහිනෙත්to masek kurani misal kama wara kudi wara muhim malumat taka dande hunnane proposal gotuga lewe fa misal ka kitassoy hama bimato majliga taluma hame dani noni petition committee aka hame dani noni sarkar jawabdari kurebe maruhala eka dani ki hadu wege terega to jawabdari wanjani mi ka lecche siyasat karuda hunnane mi badal mga magan maksad ki e siyasat karuda furtama fahara tibe fulna mushalalu mi kuriyan wettaga mi committee nimmawa gotuga matin committee ge comments taka feedback libunima e karuda han incorporate kurma fahu eti public consultation noni amu hiyadan hulwala e hiyadan hulwala mung masekka bisama kuriyad dani majidi ho gisnenga motti majidi ha ekko e ane mi amuge hiyalta libunima anikka petition committee an ete present koffa muli majidi ho gal labiyatun noni e onna process එක terem fast kokgen devana fiyawassa hameddan den algon menge mi paper present kollani international consultant den e tiga misaka tibe fulga suwadan hori kama gawanya algon men kama jawabdare wan
shukriya e biswake hisa kollam beenum fuliya mic been kolle
shukriya mi nai fahak kurihen defiya vesegga macha mit kuriya dani den ane member wes fahak kolle fadan mi final lagwami gotun eki tantanuga e petition system kuriya dani kinetto fudewarka dirasa koffa ege aliga mihar mi ane siyasat kardas mi develop koffa me wani emam mi ekantaga macha balagen ki vihaves rajyege context ak kinetto miti fetteni egota balagen mi kardas tayyar kuref met hama et highlight kollam men shukriya net
shukriya इज़ेतरीम member Hassan Ahmad al fursat arwa
mi warabboda shukriya ne ti huriya ma'lumat saaf kol de daga hondo hitengere ti be fulon ke masliha ekuegen tan yititi genda wane detto ituraka private bank gotikko berum hattawagen nutan katas mo fosarane de masdi hoge idara ain huriha memberunna wahage ki mewaru bodu masakate madde hon kurairuga ek petition committee fiyawa ek muli memberunna aso workshop එක gotuga nama wes wake kimi coach ekkan anga dinu algondu dekke gotuga ei mohimo kame ei mitana petition hosene mi onnani dayitunge kankamuge machak bina ko petition me hosede enna mes miyadu ti mawduma dingiruga mi hama international wake ki banal lawami muahadataka UNDP ya huriha be fonna masjidu ge idara ya wegen gengo se por qur'an ni detta e mai e kangal gondo mugarira ane e faaha kodam benwa nukta on me faaha kore nukta ki mer masjiha UNDP ya majlis idarai enda program ekemi berunga program nune ehme mi petition committee ka wahake ki mi alwafa mi et kurma buren kan kurma buren maragale nu towe muli majdi hu ge idarai mi befunna uriha memberunna sahage ka tuka mi kiha ware gechekkan angaden agun me mi committee ke badaluga ehen haddawa fi agonda giwan mi uriha memberunna behe wahake kamege gotuka mi kandani e mita memberunna mi angaden mi ke public wech mi tana hosalaga et kurma buren e gotta agonda fennative agonda khiyade inge
شكرا إنمس حسن أحمد قتي يا لنا أولنا هم مرحبا دنا إنمس مي أولمن Petition Committee مي بودان involve واني مي كنت توغا دنيا جي petition بينو كراني هاي كتوغا Petition Committee سيدا target كوريبي مجليو كتن ستار committee عنا يروغا تيابونو باهن مي program إبادة مولي مجليو بس فلاويجي en committee takas flawe ge majlis suri ha member na sebe ge petition ki ko bak em magan ko te gami petition committee yang amazwa kama ka wati aw menna petition committee kuriya ge dam menni ad kedo dara ge setembr
shukriya izat al-muqaddir demme me petition me program behegoto تعرف الدبابون بيفولون فاحكو كوربافي ميتي وربايدكو publicly مي program ke معلومات public obviously بين ادي comment wes korben ko ta shebe fulon ekan korabani den me alugona fahaka korebuni alugona me nawarwan aitu majliha as alugona hiwane mi committee wes warak gina adadegge petition alugona me bala dirasa ko den ege kuriya bala dairo mi petition ki ha muhim weccha kare wefaka netta majlihuge tarihuga algon menna fennan oti ehmima den adi hasako waragina radasum wes algon menna petition tali faibori egotum mi labiani na faruge housing project ge masalaga erasuge rayitum mi committee petition en hosailubi adi alif atoluge komisha ge ba rayatun take erasuge bimuge masalaga wes petition hosailubi adi kala bawaru warak gina petition take mi majliha hosailige mi committee warak gina maseketake ko dirasa kura adi miharwes algon men atuga ibe hama fode warage maseke ema algon hiwani mi kamaki mi zamanata adi miharuge zuwan jila waram muhimmu kaman algon la fa koreveni dalu dannawada miuleni majlis gawaaduga mi petition ge petition hosailen gota ege saruta mi baba yebesti befulun riaya kurabacche ingeto adi mi gawaaduga wes badale gennanjihe kamen otiyam e gawaaduga e komadaeg mi kon akurakun algon mennan e badalu genesgen mi kan koreben den kihawarge open website to noniyama mi tibe fulonti taraf korabani petran hushaluwa eya mege strict qurani kihawarge gotakatto ya mi huriha malumat be salgona fene algon menna devvu debima den algon men besa balagen ege kuriya gendeveni kongotakatto viha bodaka secure ko mi dennevi mi security wise ke gotun algon mi wahaka mi dannawade viha secure kon algon mennan e sahha ecche kan yagi ma gotaka e libun e war muhim kameta henonto e mitano mi kura kantata ki fahum wegen danaga anauna kabs henonto e vima e kankam kama tibe folom war boda visna wada enna washe den hama mi public comment e war muhim kamen ei evima mi alwana fene hama miyagen izete mogadiro ame kuriya da ngeto de majlihu ko he memberona wa samasya kurum bejya share kurben mi zamanu ko de yeki masale enno den alwana mem mi hama majlihu website ali mos e badale wen ta detta shukriya den alwana ituru wahake dakka karen anin hennen ehbima mi masekkai kuriya gendane goy mi be fulon kuriya den algon menna kial de bima algon hi wane de algon menna committee se ha diguno ko kuriya gende vidane shukriya
shukriya izete member me ebe from waaka flumas fortama mi gendani miyan ebe akrumuge program de fiye saka bahala wagen ebe from kuriya gendawani e maaluna hiwani wagutu nagano da aluna hiwani presentation agen kuriya damvi karnenge yasin rashida fursat devam vi alunda hama fursat arwan sifza kuriya gendawani minuta
shukriya ngita mi almen mi fursatuga almen international consultant fes online ko mi haraba innavi ema mi siyasatu kardas almen mi consultant lavva hushala lambenu mani furtama petition committee nena fasham
Omar, you may proceed with the presentation.
Hi, Naif. Can you hear me? Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but its voice is very low. But anyways, do you want me to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. So just for the connectivity purposes, I'm just stopping my camera for, yeah. So thank you so much. Good morning, honorable members of the People's Majlis Petition Committee, my colleagues and respective participants. Thank you so much for allowing me to have a brief discussion and presentation on what I take as one of the path-breaking steps in Maldives to increase electronic participation of the citizens through the proposed electronic petition system. So without further ado, I'll quickly take you through briefly take you through the overall components of today's presentation and the related green paper. We'll quickly start from the key objectives of this, electronic petition system, the methodology through which this green paper was basically developed, some of the key success factors that are really important for any electronic petition system. And more importantly, we will be briefly discussing the overall process and institutional procedure for implementation of this proposed e-petition system in Maldives. A little bit discussion on the roles and responsibilities. There will be I will try to cover the entire technical part through one process snapshot, that how this whole system is proposed to be worked, and will conclude on the overall intended benefits out of this system and the next steps. So starting from the key objectives of this proposed e-petition system, the first and foremost, objective is to increase accessibility of, citizens in the overall governance process. And obviously it will, once we have this electronic tool up and running, we'll reduce all the geographical barriers. Citizens from different segments of the society, from different geographical background, can have access to this system, and they can raise their concerns if they have anything they want to discuss. So that's the first one. And obviously, electronic petition in this digital era, it provides a great facility of real-time tracking on monitoring. So that will foster transparency. All the petitions that will be submitted, citizens and the petitioner will have their real-time tracking of their their petition as well, as compared to the manual processing. Any electronic tool, especially e-petition system, successfully implemented in the other part of the world, it really includes reduced administrative burdens, very quick to response, and it brings efficiency as well. It will also, bring different segments of the society. As I mentioned, it will include inclusivity, and there will be a lot of, different segments which have for some time felt difficult to, raise their, concerns or be part of the system, and they will have, have a say in this whole process as well. And finally, and not the last one, but very important one, that it will definitely strengthen government-citizen relation. There will be direct communication between citizen and the government. It will increase, build trust. It will nurture a dialogue. and it will also increase active participation of citizens in the governance. Quickly, in terms of the methodology, the formulation of this green paper was based on international best practices, where these systems are basically, successfully designed and implemented. And obviously, some of the lessons learned that they have learned, and we have tried to, leapfrog those particular steps to have a more robust system as well. And once this finalized green paper will be also be open for consultations with subject matter experts, government officials, civil society representation, and general public, and their feedback will be incorporated before finalizing the overall white paper on e-petition system. In terms of the existing relevant legal framework, which is very important, this is again a strength of Maldives, that they already have Electronic Transaction Act, and obviously they have a very good Right to Information Act as well. So most of the prerequisites are done, though. And more importantly, we already have a standing order on the provisions of rules of Majlis related to petitions. So these three, relevant legal frames are good enough to have this, system designed and up and running. Going forward, though we need data protection and privacy laws, but however, this e-petition system will have their own, security and privacy measures, which is a prerequisite of any petition system as well. Driving from the international best practices in UK, Australia, and some African countries, even in in other parts of the world. First and foremost thing is there are three success factors. It is really important to verify and validate. So any citizen who wants to basically file a petition, their data should be protected, identity should be valid, and they should be authenticated petitioners, rather than anyone can have have fraudulent submissions and cyber attacks. And excellent step from Maldives, they already have launched their EFA system, which is a digital identity in any case. So this is something, one of the basic prerequisite has been basically very important prerequisite has already been taken care by the through this EFA system. Secondly, it is really important to have a response mechanism and public visibility. Once citizens will file their petition, they'll have online real-time status of their petition, how many signatures have been received, and what are the steps taken care by. So there should be a response mechanism, and public should be aware of their feedback on their response petitions as well. Finally, e-petition system across the world, it takes time to evolve. We have to start from a basic one, and then with the passage of time, we'll have more technological advancement, and then we need constant upgradation and innovation. So these are the three key success factors that has been derived from the international best practices, where these e-petition systems have already been implemented. This section is very important in terms of the eligible areas, themes for e-petition. The green paper proposed that as based on the standing order as well as the overall best practices, it's broadly it will be included the general just common themes of for eligibility areas, governmental policies and procedure, delivery and quality of public services, developmental concerns, and other social development issue of public interest. Driving from the standing order, this is again one of the prerequisites that has the foundation of eligibility has already been set by the standing order itself, which is again a good thing that we don't have to reinvent anything. So standing order outlines the basic administrative criteria, especially for the areas of admissibility. It should be in respect to the bill introduced or submitted to the Majlis, or in connection with the matters submitted to Majlis, or in the interest of the people or the country. And then it also has criteria that what Article C says, that in terms of that it should not be included, the following two elements should not be included and matter in the scope of a proceeding in a court of law, an issue that can be remedied within the legal framework. So basically these prerequisite of admissibility and eligibility are very well defined in the standing order as well. Apart from this basic criteria, the standing order also outlined the basic criteria in terms of that how this petition should be phrased. It should be in accordance with the etiquette of the language. Each petition should have a full name, address, and signature of the petitioner, so authentication can be validated. If a petition is submitted by more than one person, at least one of them must sign the petition. And if the petition contains more than one page, one of the signatories to the petition shall sign each page, which will be a briefly changed when we'll have electronic system, in terms of, because we don't need, with the one digital signature should be enough. In addition to the person or persons referred in the B of the section, the member submitting shall also sign the petition. In this, when we have this e-petition, the citizen can directly, submit the e-petition as well. No petition shall be accompanied by a letter or statement or any other such document. No member may submit a petition that has a conflict of interest, which is very important. And each petition must state the petitioner request very clearly. Apart from this rule, I think it is very important that we have proposed on the basis of, under international best practices that, the citizen and age criteria should be defined. The e-petition system in Maldives should be open to all citizens without any age restriction. So to ensure that anyone who is represented by the Majlis and benefits from the constitutional freedoms can engage in this process. One person, one signature to ensure authenticity and prevent duplication. It is quite important to have only one, the petition should be signed by one individual only once. And as I mentioned in the beginning, that e-fast system can have a very important and direct role in, ensuring this one person, one signature digital authenticity. Clarity and purpose is very important, and I think, but this point is already been covered very well in the standing order itself, that it should be, there should be a criteria that should be met, and obviously it should be in a respectful language without any discrimination and defamatory remarks. And it should be non-commercial nature. It should be more focused, should be only focused on public interest and should not propagate any commercial interest. I won't go into a lot of detail just due to the time issue, because these inadmissible e-petitions is basically taken from the best practices from other country as well as standing order as well. There is a criteria defined that what sort of petitions cannot be admitted, but on the basis of other best practices, particularly UK. There are set of criteria. There's a very important to, outline in the right from the onset of the system. That's these particular criteria are if they are not met, it should not. They should. These criteria should not be admitted. All the petitions that fall under these categories should not be admitted as a valid e-petition. It should, for instance, that it calls for the same action as a petition that's already open. So if it's already open, there is no point having, it again and again. Obviously, it does not ask for clear actions from the government on Majlis. If it's vague and ambiguous, it doesn't make any sense. Majlis should not waste time on that one. So, based on these almost 12 criteria, if it's required, I can go into one by one. If the petition falls under these 12 criteria, it should not be admitted. But it should be communicated to the petitioner that why we have not admitted the electronic petition. This threshold is really important because this is something that has been sometimes it's a complex process. That what should be the minimum signature threshold after which the petition will be either admitted for the government response or it should be debated in the parliament or Majlis, right? So this is a generic formula: minimum threshold, total population by X divided by 100. Where total population and X is a percentage of the minimum support or threshold that is required. Now, it is very, you can say this threshold is very, very, very minimum in other parts of the world. In UK, it's 0.0004%. I mean, out of the 67 million population, if 10,000 citizens will sign a petition, it will drive a response from the government in UK. And if it's 100,000, citizens have signed something, it should be debated in Majlis. Now, keeping in view that the population size, technological accessibility, and geographical dispersion in Maldives, it is proposed that if 0.2% of the current population of Maldives signs a petition, it would become eligible for a government response. And by government response, it means like, that it does not mean that response should be that we have to, fully agree with the petition, but there should be a formal response to the citizens about their petition. And if that e-petition or any e-petition that can be considered eligible for debate, if it should have signatories represented 0.5% of the population. Now, it is really important to highlight here that these thresholds are basically at the beginning level. And as per the international best practices, it always evolves, it always changes as the progress of the system, awareness factor, other digital technology advancement. It can be increased, it can be reduced as well. But this is the basic criteria in terms of its international best practices. 99, just to quote you a very quick example from UK, 99% of the e-petition launch will never reach their threshold. Only 1% of them have reached. And in UK, only 0.1% of the entire set of, more than in thousands of petitions that has been reached that threshold of 100,000 and for the debate in Parliament. So this is the proposed threshold. Quickly, in terms of roles and responsibility, we already have this Honorable Majlis Committee for petitions. So there should be a Majlis Committee for e-petitions, and they are responsible, and they are the supervisory body of all these e-petitions. They will process it. They will agree that whether these petitions are basically eligible for any response, or first of all eligible for admission, then any response, and then any debate in the Majlis. We also need e-petition platform administrators. These will be the technical aspects of the platform, because it's a lot of technology will be involved. So they'll be taking care of, the IT or technological aspects of this. And finally, once this e-petition system is launched, we need a Majlis communication and public awareness team, because this is really vital for success of any e-petition system. That citizen awareness is really important. Continuous marketing and communication towards public, so they should know that there is a system that is up and running for their benefit and for their usage as well. In terms of the timelines, again, based on the best practices for petition that across the 0.2 signatures, the government must respond within 21 working days. And then any petition that has reached that threshold of 0.5% of the population, it can be debated within 50 working days of the crossing of the threshold. Now, in terms of for how long this petition should be on the system before a decision can be made, there are different best practices. UK keeps this e-petition for 6 months. Australia keeps it for 4 weeks. I think in the context of Maldives, 4 weeks, somewhere in the between that can be 8 to 12 weeks will be good enough. And it is really important that periodic evaluation of this system, once it's up and running and piloted, it should be evaluated at least every 5 years to see the threshold level, to see the technological advancement, and in terms of its outreach and impact. And if there are any areas for improvement, it can be highlighted. Now, this is the snapshot. I think it's a very technical one. I think it's just to showcase the honorable members that how this system will be will be worked, and it's a flow chart how the applicant will receive an email, whether if it's reached the criteria of admission, the eligibility criteria, then it will go forward. Otherwise, it just will be sent back to the petitioner with justification why it is not admitted. If it has reached a threshold of 0.2, what will happen? The committee will send it petition to the relevant public department, and they can basically respond to the petition. And if it has reached to 0.5, then committee will send it to Majlis to consider for the debate. Now, why do we need this e-petition system? Just to quickly conclude, there are a lot of demonstrated benefits across the world once this has been launched. It will take some time to reap some of the benefits, but some of the intended benefits include it will definitely strengthening democratic values by the Majlis, bringing citizens closer to the government. It's a vital step, and it's a very, very beneficial for both government as well as citizens. It will definitely improve citizen engagement and political participation. Just to highlight that, in terms of Maldives Electronic Government, Index, that's the ranking that has been given by UN on annual basis. Maldives really rank very high in terms of e-government index, but it's on the lower side when it comes to the electronic or electronic participation of citizens. So this electronic petition system will definitely contribute in increasing the index and rankings of Maldives in e-participation index. It will definitely bring transparency and accountability, whatever voice has been raised by the citizens, and if it reach minimum threshold and eligibility for discussion, it will definitely get a response. The relevant department will give a response to that petition. It will enhance efficiency. The manual system, a transformation from manual system to electronic, can take time, but obviously it will bring more efficiency and less administrative burden and cost. And more importantly, it will really help Majlis to have a data-driven decision making, because all these electronic petitions can have different type of data implications, like which geographical area will have more petitions in a particular sector or particular problem area, which geographical or different segment of society are facing issues in what particular area. So all these categories of e-petition will really provide a lot of information, data-driven information to Majlis to make informed decision. Definitely, it will strengthen citizen-government relations, manage highly polarized issue. I think because there will be, as I mentioned, there will be a specific set of issue in a particular geographical area or particular segment of the society. So this will really help to manage those systems in a very transparent manner. And obviously, in terms of tracking, it will also help track issue on the basis of different geographical interest as well. So next steps, this green paper will be open for public consultation. It is really important to understand citizens' feedback, their response and requirement, whether they what is their digital awareness, are they already part of IFA system, whether they are using that app, and how they are how much they are comfortable with such sort of system, what type of technology they need. Someone of them will be using smartphones, someone wants to have an electronic web portal or something like that. So this public consultation is really important. And once that all the feedback will be gathered, this green paper will be converted into white paper, and that white paper will be more comprehensive in terms of implementation framework and the technical part of it. So and that will be duly presented and approved by the Majlis for detailed planning, design and implementation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amar.
Over to you, Naif.
Me asama feshmuge koren adat kod taarifin adwala menuma Umar Ahmad Dawana ki UNDP adi ADB ge digital adi ane me evaluation specialist mi kamang ena select kore fana UNDP ge global policy network ge roster ge tereng mi kamang hasako
शुक्रिया मैं अरुण हम कमिटी के मेंबर होना हडांती बेफ्रोंगे मालूमात टका अरुण हिस्सा कोल्लान अरुण में यूके या मरफ़ाम करे होना दातुरेगा स्कॉटलैंड यूके के पेटिशन कमिटी तक आते इतनों के मुगरियो ना बादल करे होना बेफ्रोंगे हम ई पेटिशन ना बेगोतुं बेफ्रोंगे सिस्टम तक मसे के करने मिदन नवाहें ई पेटिशन के सिस्टम हमको प्रेजेंटेशन का उम्र दे में गन्ने बाय कंकां बलायर को पेशन ने होशेले किंदा मुद्दत आया अमल करंजी है गोता है और या गोता बलायर का हास को स्कॉटलैंड के ई पेशन ने होशेले जिकने इतना के पार्लियामेंट होशेले जिनामा हकीकत का एम मेंबर का वैसे होशेले ई पेशन ने पब्लिक कंसर्न होना वर्क आदि बेर गाँव तो के राइट को सेवा पेशन ने होशेले कमिटी तक एमा अरुणमेंबस अरुणमेंगे आदि गवाह तक कानो तेकले फहरी कोई मिया या आला ख्याल मसली बे फुर्सते में हमारा बड़ा शुक्रिया थी फ्रॉम दी ई पेटिशन अरुणमें तारफ करन थी गिंदी हम सके तक अरुण इज़्ज़त मेंबर फुर्सत तरवाना
शुक्रिया इज़्ज़त मुगरिर अरुणेंगे इज़्ज़त मुगरिर थी गिंदवानी कमिटी नि मालूम के मगोंका मी एन्नमे सालुगंडो मी धन्यवादम बेनो मिहारो तिविदालवी देम्मे मी तहजीब एफा और गामतकेगे नंता इंगेता अलगोनमें गामा मी देम्मे तिविदालवी गामतोगे नंतका परत्तफात सियासी गोतुम वे अलगोन मेति वर लफतुगा एमा अलगोनमें नंग आदि अलगोन गबोले नुकुरंग तिहा बोडकों अलगोनमें न हुलुवालागे कम मी गेंदे वने एहनमेस मी ट्रांसपेरेंसी वर बोडंगोन्नम वाने इंगेदा ट्रांसपेरेंसी वर बोडंगोन्नम वाने मिसालकं अलगोनमें गामुगा मी ओन्ननी नोट सिटी पेटिशन मी कहला गोतक मी ओन्ननी हेनोत द नोट एक सोयन कुरेसे ओकेता एक सिटी का वज्जा में काकुलियन सिटी का चितो कोंकमतो एस सर्विस कुरंजी हेनोत देम me onani petition ehima emme befolo adi algonmen gawa aduges munane befolo ko bone itol befolo adi majidi hoge member ko sponsor wes kuranji hen kama den mihar mi dannawan ule asuga point aki ekala eha මේ මිදනවි petition වෙජ්ජාම petition එකේ හුන්නන් ජිහේනේ petition එකේ සිෆතක එකුයේ අන්නන් ජිහේනේ එහෙනොත ඒ වරබොඩ කොන්සානේ රේස් කුරා එච්ච ඒගේ සිෆමාන් ජිහේනේ ඒ කිහා වරෙග්ගේ බොඩු කමික්කන් එහෙනොත එමිම ඒගොතක් කන්නේගේ මේ petition ඔන්නන් ජිහේනේ දෙන් අලුගොඬ මේ අස්සක මේ ෆුර්සත මේ නෙගී එහෙන් කමෙගේ එංගේත අලුගොඬ මේ ෆුර්සත මේ හොදාලි මියති අලුගොඬ මෙන්න දෙම්මේ උමරෝ ඒ හුෂයලු යති වර තෆ්සීල් කොෆෙන්න අලුගොඬ හිතන් අරිනේ අලුගොඬ මෙන් ආම කමිටිය මේ හුෂයලු හිස්සා කුරන් ජිහේනේ බායේ එංගේත ඒ ගවෑද හදෝ කමිටිය කි ආම කමිටිය කම වාතීවේ එංගේත මීගේ තෙරේ බ වදේ අනේ ගවෑද වෙස් අදි ගානූනක බෑ මාදා තවස් මීගේ බෝවේ එවිම අලුගොඬන් හිවනේ අලුගොඬ මෙන්න එකනේ මේ මිකන් කොල්ලා නිමුන් එහා පසිහන් වෙදානේ එම් වර බොඩ මීති බලාගේ ඉංගත මීග හුරි එව්වස් දිමායක ඒ දිමායා ගුළුන් හුරි එව්වස් කම මීග තෙරේක වානම එබේක හිස්සා කුරුන් ඒ අලුගන මේ මොගඩිරු අලුගන හිවනේ කුරන්ජි හේ කමෙක්කම අලුගන ෆාහග කුරවේ තීවේ මොගඩිරු මේ සෙක්‍රටරියට වාහ දක්කවාප මියස් කුරන්ජි හේ කමෙක්කම වඤ්ඤාම එකන් කුරුන් ඒ බුද්ධවර කමෙක්කම අලුගන ෆෙන්නාති වාක ෆාහකොල් දේ බරබඩ ශුක්‍රියති බෙෆලුන් ඇස්ති වඩෙන් අලුගන මත හිස්සා කොල් දේ මාලුමාත් කොලන් අදි මොගඩිරු අලුගන මි ෆුර්සත් දෙවිති වරබඩ ශුක්‍රිය වරබඩ
شكريا أمي أنا كلا دايرة جزت رمبر فرصة
شكرا جزت مگر دارگونا نا میهاتنا می کمیٹیا ایفرگنا petition نکی هگیوتوگا ایگا این فار آرگون میں petition गे مسک کے بلا من دائرو اون نیک ما ہمجی فوننے هگیوتوگا می سفرتم کمبگا کرانی می petition میتن فونونے فونوا فدین ایگیترو දෙකම අභේ ෆරාතක මේ දන්නවජේ ෆරාතක දන්නවාර එකන්ත වර ආදාගුත එකන්ත හමජේ විසාක කොම්මස් එපාර්ට්මන්ට් එකේ මසල එපාර්ට්මන්ට් එක උන්න මේ අනේ ඩිෆෙක්ෂන් නොත් ඔල්ටරේෂන් කන්තත කපෙට්සන අතුදා බල රෝගන් න පෙට්සන් අන්න යර උන්න එකන්ත හමජේ එහෙම ඔගුනේ පෙට්සන් ලාන්ජේ ස්ටේජා පෙට්සන් ලාන ක්‍රයිටීරියා තක උසූල් තක ඇචි කඩලුන් අස්ල වර මුහිමවන කන්නේ මීගේ අනේ ගයිඩ්ලයින් හදායරු එම් තා වර කුදු කන්ත තකාවස් petition la de emiona kanta bodu e petition la ne ka henna mos e kama be stakeholder una danwala re kanta hamuchi ehma mi filter ge masla ka unna gina goti ge doru masla mi hatana mi nawar majliya kina petition asori mi alguna ka fa kura kam ge danwala mi ka guideline na usul ta ka stage ta ka mi che baya ko fa unna jena kama fennati shukriya
شكرا جزت رمبر مي أرمنا أما UNDP के फरातों ते हिस्सा करे भी इन्हें ई पेशना गुले को तंते देवी मालूमात तक है ये तो का अरमे मी इज़्ज़त रे मजदी हासा कमी कमेटिया पेनुवा हम वरम मुहिम मालूमात तक है अरमे दुनिया गुली केंदा मी फदा फुर्सत का दुनिया के हिंगा उन्तो के होरी मिकन कम practice kurve gota adi alunge mi petition ge zariya mikan kan kuriya ginde wen goitta engun ei waram muhimu kame kom ga salunus deke alun tibe flunge itro wahak fule committee hissa korvam benu fuli alun kuriya ginda adi zetrembaro hasan gasime hushelovi hos maaf korva husen gasime hushelovi hial fulta kis warabina korni hial am committee gawaid tak hadda kam mi ya gulum huri gawaid ka gule kam vanyal men secretariat ng kam skoravan ehim alun waranti be funa de fursat difa majisni malangasto koren
mi umar ke presentation fashion ge korin izeter member en engevi point tak ngalo ummid korang jawab lebige engage kamas ane mi wakin hasa ekal security ya mi miharo majliyo ga miharo oi practice kora gota mi kama behe gotum hori swata kanu ummid korani mi siyasat karda tene jawab dipije kam den majliyo ga secretariat ta miharo ane share kore fawani mi umar dembe ke vidal we white paper wara comprehensive digu gaanona ganna je badalta kami mi himene paper yaka public share kuram working hada foi kuru me kuriha ma baver malumat no hime ekam me masekke hingane got kommesara kiyada de paper one share kore then arun menge ummida ki me mihar masekke devi foi gotum arun menge ummida ki public consultation we have savhakan huluwada ekam huluwada muge kurin hama me committee ya malumat hissa kolluma faho me committee ge vis comment and wata feedback en ekkamuga waanama e feedback ke e green paper ga nangalu kurumaffa honu ne feedback incorporate kurumaffa ho menu yalun men e public anu holwala e malun men aso beenum wani e ya tibe fulunge comment feedback ke otiya mun e ti viha savahaka dibu e ralun men majidi hoge secretariat ta goligen public consultations taka viha savahakam holwala men ma siyasat kardas aso mi siyasat kardas mati fudever ka bodan nimifa mi fewa he nimmu man algon men miharu kuramu mida masekkata ki mibuna gota hiyadu hodal mafo mi siyasat kardas finalize kol lima algon menna me website development masekke fashion mi enna
වරබොඩ ආදේශ ෆාර මරහබා දන්නවා අල්මෙන් කොමිටිය වඩාන්ති හිසා කරවි මල්මාත අල්මෙන් කොමිටි ඉතර බේවිගෙන් දාන තිබේ ෆ්‍රොංග තිපරෙන්ටේෂන් බේගතුම් කොමිටිගේ ඉතර මෙම්බර් අධි හොරි හබේ ෆ්‍රොං හාසිරවා මජ්ලි හෙග්ගකන් අල්මෙන් ඉරාත් කරවිය හිසා කුරාන අල්මෙන් මියගතු පෙෂන් කොමිටි නිමාලන අධි බයි බේ ෆ්‍රොං නොරස්මික වාහක ෆ්‍රො දක්කන් හොරීම අනේ ෆුර්සත් එරුමැක් කොමියදුගේ මේ කමිටිගේ පත්තලොන් නිම්මාදන් වරපුඩ ශුක්‍රියා අස්ලාම් අලයිකුම්